Ladies and gentlemen, I have spent the entire week at Premier Padel Rotterdam, and this is what I learned from the pro players during this entire week. So let's start in how you can improve by watching the Premier Padel players.
Lekker boelie!
And we have sales on justpadel.com.
I like it.
You like it? Good match. Smile like Chingoto. Well, spoiler alert, they did not win the final, but sometimes Tapia and Cuello, they are just on another level. It was just such a good point, and Chingoto had just to smile like, nice shot. Ale, you cannot do anything about this shot because it's just too good. It's fine. And this helps you to accept the point and to move on. Because sometimes your opponents are just better than you, and that's absolutely fine. But don't be too hard on yourself after your opponent does something amazing. And Chingoto is a very good example for that, in how to say something positive like, nice shot, wow. This is how you should handle a very nice shot against you. Yes, block like the guys from the Premier Padel. So this is what Tapia, Cuello, Chingoto, Ale Galán did very, very well. They were just blocking and they did not rush so much. And I think, especially what I do a lot, is I'm still running and then I get this hard shot on my body and I miss the ball. So it was way better, and I saw this a lot with Cuello, is that he just stays. So he played the lob, he just stayed in this position because the rally became too fast to do more, to run further. Move like Paula Jose Maria. So her footwork, ladies and gentlemen, is from another level. The moment she does not have the ball, she was the best player in the women's final. And she had way more energy. She was on her feet the entire time. She's ready for everything. Before she's about to start the point, she's jumping. She's making herself ready. I think Ariadne Sanchez and Paula Jose Maria won the match. Also, they are better. But they moved way more. They were way faster and they did way more with the ball. And that's because they had just way more energy. And they're putting way more energy than Gemma and Fernandez into the match. So this was a massive difference. If you put more energy into the match than your opponents, you are way, way, way more likely to win the match. Coach like Gemma. We were very, very close to the match, very close to the door. And we could hear the difference with Claudia Fernandez and Gemma Triay talking with each other. Gemma had to say the entire time, especially on tough points where there was a lot of tension, dime, tell me where they are. Claudia, when the match got tense, she forgot to tell Gemma where the opponents are. This is a big reason why Gemma couldn't really do more. She always had to play a safer shot because she was not sure, or she knew quite late on into the rally where the opponents are positioned. And this is very crucial information that you can get. And also the voice and the tone that you speak with each other. When Gemma was speaking, she was like, dos atrás, two at the back, derecha aquí. So one of the players went forwards and she just calmly said, derecha aquí, the right one is here. In that tone of voice. This is very crucial information, because if you speak with that calmness in your voice, your partner will not get stressed and will make a good decision. The moment you will say, derecha aquí, right is here, your partner gets a lot of stress and will lose the point. In my honest opinion, this is what I have to improve a lot, is when one of them is going to the net, that I still calm down and speak in a very slow and calm voice, because you have time to talk. Fake runs. This is also what Paula did amazingly. Gemma was speaking a lot to Claudia, where Paula and Ariana were positioned. And what Paula did is she went forwards and she went back. So she said, Paula coming, and she went back. Gemma was saying where Paula was positioned. And she had to change that. So Paula's coming, no, she's going back. If you are ready for the shot and you hear she's back and she's forwards, you have to change your mind last second. So if you have time, if you play well, or if you played a very high lob, you have time to make those fake runs now and then. Lob like Ariana. So what Ariana Sanchez did really well is that she was lobbing in this particular match, the finals of Rotterdam. She lobbed a lot of straight balls. And what does that do? Well, not so many players lob straight. Many players lob cross courts. And why should you lob straight? Because your partner gets the ball. Paula was better than Claudia. The difference between Ariana and Gemma cross courts on the left side is not so big as the difference between Paulita and Claudia Fernandez. So Ariana wants that Paula gets more shots. So what she was doing is she was lobbing straight, so Paula received the ball. And this is what is difficult about Padel, is that a lot of players want to be the hero or the best player on the court. You just have to accept that Paula is better than Claudia. So play a game that Paula can play a lot with Claudia in the cross courts. And this is what you want to achieve in the match. Focus like Bela. Well, I really wanted to interview Fernando Belastekin, #1 of the world for 16 years. So I said, Bela, can I ask you 2 questions for an interview? And he said, no, I have to play in 1 hour, so I'm focusing. So, and I really enjoyed how he said it to me, because it was really nice. Because it's very hard to say no, and then in a very polite way he said no. He was very focused. So this means that he already warmed up 1 hour before the match, and then still he didn't want to do any interviews. He was separating himself from the crowd, and he is focusing on the match. When you are playing a tournament, how early did you arrive on the paddle court? Well, I think at least half an hour early would be good, because if Bela is that good and he needs 1 hour of focus, maybe you need 2 hours of focus. But you need to have a lot of stuff gone before you play the match. So only what you are doing at the moment matters. Your work, your life, your wife, everything doesn't matter anymore when you are on the court, because you will feel better after you won the match. So then everybody else is happy as well. So, and focusing really helps. So somebody asked for a picture of Bela, and he was still putting his overgrip on, and he said, well, wait 1 second, I have to finish the overgrip. So it doesn't matter what happens, but he's finishing his task with focus. And then he goes in the picture, then he goes back to warming up and preparing for the match. So how early are you when you play a tournament? Let me know in the comments below. Lose like Galan. Well, Galan was not playing a very good match yesterday when we were watching the finals. And he made a lot of mistakes. And sometimes we forget that it's possible to play a bad game. And we don't need to be too harsh on ourselves. Because if Galan has it, and he's training every single day for multiple hours, and we are not, there is a chance that you play a bad game, and that's absolutely fine. It's annoying, but you have to accept the fact that sometimes you play terrible, and that's it. So you can get back in the match, because it doesn't mean you have to, the entire match is terrible or you have to lose, but everybody plays a bad game now and then, so don't be too hard on yourself. Hold the racket like Tapia and Coelho. If Tapia and Cuello are not playing, they're holding the racket over here. You can watch that in the Premier Padel match. So they have the racket quite high, because then they can really relax the racket. They hold it in a very relaxed way. So then they are not so tense to play the next point. Because sometimes if you just lost a point, you're going to put a lot of pressure on the grip, and then your next ball, you're going to play with high grip pressure. So a very straight arm. And you're not going to play your best paddle in this way. So after you played the point, try to focus and hold the racket higher, or in the triangle, or maybe even hanging it over here, but try to relax. If you look at Tapia and Cuello, this is very good to watch, because it helps you to calm down, to be ready for the next point. Not more than 2 mistakes per game. When we were watching the Premier Padel, if somebody made more than 2 mistakes during one game, they lost the game. And sometimes we forget how many mistakes we actually are making. You don't want to do too much. If you just made 1 mistake, don't play the next ball faster, harder, sharper. Don't take more risk the second point or the point after. Try to get back into the rally. And if you made a mistake, all the players, they go to their towels, they dry off their hands, they take more time in between, and then they play the next point. So this is what you should do after you made a mistake. No more than 2 unforced errors a game. So that means just 1 mistake a game. Focus on that. And if you have achieved that, okay, then maybe take some more risk. But if you are making more than 2 mistakes a game, that's not good. So take less risk. High serve percentage. So one of the statistics that were interesting to me is that there was one particular match where the players lost. I am not going to say the names, but they won 0 points when they had to play their second serve. And they did play some second serves. Their opponent in the same match won 4 points on their second serve in the entire match. So this means is either you are not making any first serve mistakes, so then that's higher, or you're making some mistakes. What I would recommend is a service percentage of at least 80%, because if some of the players at the end of the match won 0 or between 0 and 4 points on their second serve entire match from both players, is very, very, very low. So if you're somebody that takes a lot of risk with the first serve, you might lose points because of that. You might win points by playing a semi-ace, but big chances is that you are also one of those players where you don't win points with your second serve, because either the ball comes on your feet, you play the ball into the net, or they play you a lob and you have to start over again. So the first service percentage, try to get it as high as possible. If you are lower than 80, take less risk. If you are higher than 80, maybe do a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching the video, and thank you so much because we have reached 50,000 subscribers. This is massive. But also, if we can get 50, we can get to 100. So vamos, let's subscribe, and that will be great. Also, we're going to test these rackets out now, and you can see the racket reviews on our Instagram page of the Instagram page of Just Padel. So have a look, because we are uploading a lot of racket reviews on Instagram. So if you don't know what racket you should choose, we will help you in 1 minute. So thank you all for watching the video, and I see you next Monday. Hasta luego. Ciao. Adios.